hot. I'm bothered. It's payback time. It's not. Need for Speed 2019 is around the corner, and welcome, my friends, to a series of videos where I'm going to be talking about 2019, what I want to see, what I want to change, comparing it to the old games, a whole bunch of things. This one is the one that is the most important to any Need for Speed fan, and if this is something they have not resolved, there is going to be major consequences. Break to drift. I've made videos of this in the past, and what I want to talk about today is more specific details, showing you why it's an issue, and then showing you a mod that is actually going to fix this issue and give us a better idea of how I want the handling to be. This isn't just for my sake. I want to make this handling much better overall, not just break to drift. Even if it stayed, it needs improvements. Bringing us back to 2015 then, which it's a beautiful game, even by today's standards. Anyway, this game, it plays pretty well. I mean, overall, if you've played a lot of time into this game, it handles and you can get used to it. Of course, that's how it works with a lot of things like that. But the main issue here is that when you come back to the game after not playing for a while, for example, I've played it here and there for the past couple of months, twice maybe, but I haven't actually played it properly, religiously, since when it came out, or a little bit, maybe a year after it. And the problem there is that the handling's not great for that. If you can see how sloppy I am being with this car, and every single video that I make with this, I'm just all over the place. And realistically, it's even when I'm not talking per se, which is another thing I have to point out, is that when I'm commentating, I have to focus on what I'm saying and also what's on the screen. Say they release an update for a game a couple of months after it's come out, and that encourages someone to put that disc back in and play the game again. I put the game in again, I can't drive. Number one, I'm going to quit the game and probably never play it again. So that's an issue. Also, can we just say, did you see that sticker on the Skylines Bayside Blue stickers? Limited edition. Available now. Break to drift, although it is a major problem with this game, the game introduced a handling slider setup and where you can actually adjust things and make them the way you want them to be, which was fantastic. Very happy pants. But the problem with this handling slider setup was that when you put it into grip, which is the other option, is drift and grip, it didn't really go so well. Complete opposite of not being able to have any control whatsoever. It's far on the other side of the spectrum to the point where you also have no control. They almost meet in the middle because of the fact that you can't turn. It's impossible. I don't understand. I tried it for a little while. On lower powered cars, it's not as much of an issue, but ultimately there's another issue in break to drift. Drift boost. Now this is something that was nerfed a little bit in Need for Speed Payback, but is still present. This is a major thing that has to be solved. Better in most ways, I would say, because the handling was better. The cars were better. The customization was less restricted. The storyline was much better, even though still not great. Much better. More actual characters and whatnot. Break to drift is still in the game. Not an issue if they had solved anything about it, which they did. They did solve some things. For example, when you drift in this game, you can see it's so much smoother. Everything just seems to work. I have a lot more control. Of course, jumping back in this game, after a while, it's less of an issue here, me handling the vehicle. You can clearly see that I have a lot more control of where this vehicle is going. Again, I haven't played Payback in a good, decent while properly. Anyway, I've played it here and there for a video or two, but other than that, I've not touched this blooming game, and it's a million times easier to handle. But we're not done here, because the grip was pretty poo. Again, you can clearly see huge improvements here in terms of keeping speed and being able to turn, but understeer, hell, both, depending on which, whatever. The car cannot take corners properly. You can't turn a corner and accelerate. Sure, this may be somewhat realistic for some vehicles, but this vehicle, I have very clearly maxed out to be very good at braking and turning and accelerate is a handling-based vehicle. This vehicle was supposed to be my grip car, and it still had proper issues of being used. Drift boost is still a thing in Payback, and that's the one thing that lets it down, because again, the grip handling was better, but it's not perfect. It was better, but they ruined it by having the drift boost in there still, because ultimately I can't keep up still. Even though I'm driving properly and taking the best lines in some situations, I still cannot pass someone sliding. It makes no sense. Unless you caught up to everything. That's where we are now. Now, of course, if they go naturally with 2019, what we're going to get, a little improvement on the drifting and a little improvement on the grip racing. Now we're all caught up, it's time for me to install the mod and give it a go. We got the grip mod enabled. This is going to be our first run in it. I'm ready. Stop showing me this car. Get it away. I have the better GTR. I forgot that I turned off the voices as well. It's just silent. Here we go. Bit of boost. Oh, mate, you're already in the dust. That's not gone well, has it? Right. So this handling is a little bit... Okay, it depends on car to car, because what they did say is, by the way, the creator of the mod is Putis? So we'll go with Potis. There are a couple of cars that I do want to try on this mod, but essentially this is what we want the handling to be a little bit more like. So I think actually they're struggling to drift themselves. Wait, if they've disabled brake to drift on everything, does that mean no one has brake to drift? Yeah! That means the AI are in deep poo, and it means that you can actually play the game without sliding everywhere. Now, you can actually slide, I believe. You do have to counter steer, which they said, which sounds like a lot of fun. Hold on, that's how it should be. I'm blessed that I messed up there. I like that. That's what I want. I would rather mess up and be cool and feel cool when I get it right. That's how I'm gonna be. Is it gonna do it again? Come on. Oh my god! The car I originally saw do very well on this game was the M3, so I'm actually going to go buy an M3. Where's the dealer? There's so many icons on this map, this one. I think they were using this M3, so let's get it. Yes. Might need some upgrades, to be honest with you. We'll have a look. I have enough money to put the upgrades on. Oh, I don't have enough for the 18s. Bonus pack level 18. Boom! Max this boy out. Not too shabby. Now, 1200 horsepower. Realistically, this thing should be wheel spinning like a crazy boy, because I've driven a 325 in that span as is. Right! Probably not the best way to... Let's teleport somewhere, because we need roads that we can drift on. Kind of not drift on. Okay, corner. So it's still got quite a bit of understeer. It needs to be better than this. After playing this mod, this is an improvement. I feel like I can turn a little bit more, but it's still got that need for speedness of recent where... it doesn't want you to turn properly. Sometimes you can see that I'm kind of overturning because I'm not used to it turning so much. But see, the advantage here is that everybody is forced to not drift. At least everybody on single player, because obviously in multiplayer that wouldn't really be the case now, would it? But I like this. It's a step. Thing is, I don't know if I would want them to completely remove brake to drift. I've spoken about this before. I don't particularly think it's a bad thing per se. I just think that the unfair advantage that it gives is the worst part about it. I like that it's easy to pick up and play. At least in this case, in this game's case, it's a little bit easy. It's not massively easy. To be honest with you, it would be easier to pick up and play how a normal car would handle. But it seems like Ghost don't quite understand that. But let's hope that they understand it a little bit more on 2019. That's my objective with this video, to get an idea of what you guys think. I would love to know your kind of thoughts on the whole thing, as this video being a pillar of Ghost feedback. For example, if they've... I mean, right now they've probably already made what they're going to be making, but I want to know, what does everyone at home think? No matter what handling method you use, it would be cool to see when you're sliding a grip car come up at least beside you. Make them at least a match. Because again, in real life, although it's a game, I know, grip driving is better. And although it's an arcade racing game, I think real life should be a big factor, especially in Need for Speed grittiness. I don't know about you. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Be sure to smash like, subscribe if you are new, sticker store link down below. I'll be doing some other stuff soon, so watch out for that. And yeah, that's basically it. Let me know smash like. Peace.